I just love Conan O'Brien.
Oh, this is great. Please tell me what about Conan O'Brien.
He has a podcast.
Yes.
Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. And I will be that for him. No, I'm kidding.
Hi, this is Once to Watch Chef's Choice. I'm Abby Kenna, and I'm joined by Lindsey Lomis.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Abby?
I'm good. This is always weird because I'm like, we've been chatting for 10 minutes
I know.
now.
We did have a conversation, but it's good to speak to you for the first time ever.
For the first time ever, you walked in and I said, save it. Save it for the podcast.
Zip it. Not a single word. No hellos even.
No, we don't acknowledge each other till that red light is on.
Exactly. That's how it should be. Keep it professional here.
Always, of course. I heard you were new to LA. I walked into that.
I am.
Yeah? How new?
I'm about like 6.5 months in.
Okay, how are we feeling?
Pretty new. Oh my God, it's just a spectrum of emotions all the time here. I honestly love it, and I think it was like the best decision for me in this phase of life.
Yeah.
I am born and raised Nashville, Tennessee, hadn't left till 6 months ago.
Okay.
So this is like my first real big move, so I feel like that's why it's been so crucial to my life and my growing up process.
Yeah, you're 21, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm 22.
No
so
way,
we're like
hell yeah.
same phase of life.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like every week there's something new I discover about myself that causes an entire mental breakdown.
Yeah, I was talking about this recently. It's like when you turn 18, I feel like I thought I had grown up.
Yes.
And now I've realized that I actually am a child now.
Totally.
Like I've regressed.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I learn that every single day. I'm like, oh no, I actually don't know anything. I feel like I knew way more back then, to be honest.
It's like a 3-day life cycle too. Like I wake up one day, everything sucks and I know nothing. And then I have a day of depression and then I'm like so back.
So back. On top of the world.
Yeah.
Even. Yeah, no, totally. I feel like it really is that on loop. But it's been amazing, and I think that's honestly what I wanted, was to get out of my comfort zone by moving here, and LA of all places was the most comfortable just because I had been visiting for so long.
Right. That's interesting because you grew up in Nashville.
Yeah.
And like I grew up in New Jersey.
Oh,
so I feel like I had the decision of like New York, Nashville, LA.
Yeah.
But you grew up in a music
in one
city.
of the hubs, yeah.
How is it different from Nashville?
It's so different. I feel like the biggest thing for me is that I just was around the same like personal life things all the time. Like that's what I needed to change in order to be open more creatively. It was less even about like the industry stuff. I definitely was coming out here to work with the same handful of people so many times that it was like I was essentially living out here, except I was also paying rent in Nashville.
Yeah.
So that's why it made so much sense now to do it, because I was coming out here so much to write. But yeah, even just like personal life wise, to just be able to like do something drastically different. I never went to college or had that breach in my comfort zone. So this has been that, and obviously like music is huge in Nashville, and I've just been surrounded by it since I was a kid, and I think I would be so different as a musician if I didn't grow up in Nashville, and it just definitely all seemed so possible growing up just because everyone was doing it. Like it was never like this out of reach thing. Like I was constantly surrounded by people trying to do it for real. And yeah, so I got so lucky growing up in Nashville. I can't even describe, even just being in a city where like live music is constantly playing. That's how I fell in love with it.
Yeah. When did your musical journey begin then? At a really young age?
At a really young age, yeah. I honestly, like, my parents have nothing to do with music, but they took me to see shows all the time because they just loved music in general. So I just grew up going to see live music, and that made me fall in love with it instantly. I just loved like, and seeing all different types of artists perform too. It wasn't, solely one specific genre or like the reputation Nashville has of only being country. It was
so fake.
People come to Nashville like all the time on tours. So I just saw everyone I ever wanted to see ever.
Oh, what a great childhood.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I kind of like took that as like studying. So I did the live show thing. I went to camps, like music camps growing up, band camps, singing camps, all that. Oh yeah, rock camp, let's go. And those were huge because not only did I get to have fun like meeting my peers in these camps, but I also got really close with a lot of the counselors. And they would get me gigs outside of the camps. And so it was kind of became more of a year-round thing, not just like in the summer. And I did
you were
open mic
networking.
nights. Yeah, totally. Yeah, somehow networking at that age. I had no clue what it was, but I was just like, I want to play. Just did a ton of open mic nights like after school and stuff. And I just really like, I feel like my comfort zone was like performing somehow. Obviously, initially I was so terrified, but that's where I like felt that I could test out new music and new songs and see how people feel. And also just like growing up doing that at a younger age, I feel a lot more confident now talking to a crowd. Like I think that's the scariest part, isn't playing the songs. It's like communicating to that big of a group of people.
It's when the song ends and all of a sudden you're like a person for a second.
You become a person. But that's what I've realized, is that we are just all people. And so I feel like now I've learned to like just talk to the crowds like I'm having a conversation.
Yeah, they're your
it's
friends.
A little one-sided. Yeah. But yeah, so I just got a lot more comfortable with the industry and performing and even recording. Like I did vocal lessons, but they were very relaxed and not classical by any means. I literally would just like record covers into a mic like this.
Love.
So I learned how to record and like all of that. That have really shaped me. And so I've definitely been doing it since I was super young, but like it never felt like intentionally like I'm going for this. I was just like, this is a part of my life. Yeah,
you just grew up doing it and just like taking one, like the next logical step was, yes, of course I'm going to write music and play it at open mics. Exactly. Yeah. And I just learned so much. I was just like a sponge. Taking it all in. So kind of moving to LA was like the intentional step into like, this is your career now. Totally, yeah. And I mean, I had been really seriously pursuing it for a while. I released my first song when I was 12, which is crazy to think about now. Yeah. Is it still out? No, thank God. That one has been stripped from all platforms. She doesn't exist. I'm sure someone's going to find it at some point, but it'll be me. Yeah, literally. Cue the music. But no, yeah. So I feel like I've been doing it for a while and learning so much, but this is the first time where I'm like really, like I've said it a million times, but like super out of my comfort zone. And like it does feel like so new somehow in this phase, even though I have been doing it for almost a decade. So that's been really exciting to just kind of like revert back to step one and be like, okay, I'm just going to soak all this up again and learn all new things. And obviously it helps having the experience that I do have. Right. But just to look at it from a fresh perspective. Yeah, totally a clean slate. Yeah, exactly. It's been so exciting. And I've just been so lucky to find like incredible collaborators here and friends and everything. So it definitely, when I say it's out of my comfort zone, it's like the most comfortable comfort zone there is. Yes. But it's not, I mean, I honestly think it's way easier than like going to college and like getting in a dorm room with a bunch of people you've never met. Like, okay, valid. I think that's still scarier. But two different demons. Yeah, it is a jump. I feel like just like jumping into like adult life like this. So right, moving away from everyone you know. Yeah, totally. And just being like, oh yes, let me pursue the hardest thing to make money off of literally ever. Exactly. Let me put myself through torture. No, I'm kidding. And you love it. I actually love it so much. Yeah, I can't even complain. But it's been so great for me being here. It's obviously had its challenges like any move or any city, but yeah, I love it because of that. Well, you're killing it. You have so much ahead of you. Thank you. And I want to know, if listeners have never heard your music before, what would you serve up to them? What would be the first song you'd want them to hear? I honestly, it's so funny when you were kind of giving me this prompt earlier. I was like, in my head, I was like, if Uber drivers figure out I'm a musician and ask me like what song I want to play on my Spotify platform and I have to do it, the one that I choose is Bad News, Good News. Okay. I don't want you to give me a reason to worry about her. I'm not sour, but I hope she was bad for you. I hope that her name makes you sad. I would love to hear why, and also I love that description because it is so elevator pitch, but that's the most LA thing you've said so far. And I also the like Uber driver. I can't lie. Like if they ask what I do, I can't make something up. Like I just can't go beyond what I know. I'll say something so fucking stupid. Yeah, totally. No, I've tried and I just lose it. I can't. I'm like, oh yes, I'm a doctor. Yeah, obviously at 22, I'm a surgeon. So no, Bad News, Good News. Back to it, yeah. Bad News, Good News is my choice because
I feel like in the one song, it has multiple songs, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. You have that switch up that happens.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm kind of cheating by picking this one because it does feel like it's multiple songs in one.
Yeah.
And just kind of covers a lot of ground for me artistically. And also just is like the most, the song that on my discography that I'm just most proud of.
Oh, cool.
Just because I feel like it's so unintentionally different. Like, it's not like we went into the studio and we're like, we're gonna make something so different today and that has a switch up and that is really weird. We just like happened upon it, which I feel like is the most natural way. But yeah, I feel like it shows, the verses have this more like almost folky guitar, and that kind of shows a little Nashville side and that playing, and then the chorus is like this total like soulful R&B switch up.
Yeah, it does kind of capture the spectrum of your music all in one.
Totally, which I've been trying to do more and more, just because I feel like I do pull from so many different influences and so many different genres. It's really hard to give a description to my music.
Yeah.
That's the hardest question I could be asked, is like, what kind of music do you make? I'm like,
like, let me just show you, actually.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
What were you listening to when you were making Bad News, Good News?
Ooh, good question. I was listening to, honestly, I feel like the guitar stuff, that guitar part, Ariza, my producer, he came up with that, and it was so, he started playing it, and I was like, oh, I'm like obsessed with Madison Cunningham at the time, and it was just like, I love how she incorporates guitar into her music, and obviously she plays it so incredibly too. Yeah. But so I was really obsessed with her, so that like stuck out to me. I always have such like a balance of like listening to like pop music and then just like the most niche random thing ever.
We love it.
Which I feel like sums it up perfectly. But I was also super obsessed with, still am, this artist Child with 3 eyes.
Yes. Yeah.
And he just has like, he's another artist that you can't really describe the music he makes. It's just like everything's so different and cool and tasteful, and it's like alternative. It has like, I don't know, it's just so many different moments.
Those are my favorite, because like as a journalist, I'm like, I'll figure out a way to describe you.
Yeah, you're like, this is a test to my abilities. No, I completely agree though. Even as a listener, it's so exciting every time you hear something that you're just like, I've never heard this before. This is like so special.
But you can kind of like trace where certain elements came from. You're like, okay.
And like why you're drawn to it in the first place. I think that's really cool. To have like certain parts of certain songs like grasp you for certain reasons. But
and that's true about Bad News, Good News. Like if listeners are more of like on the Nashville enjoyers, they'll definitely, that's like a good gateway into your music.
Totally. Yeah.
But then you'll still get the cool like R&B vocal riff people.
Totally. Yeah. I feel like it has a perfect mix, and even like production wise, it's really cool and interesting. So I love, like, I've been just obviously in awe of my producer Ariza, and so just interested in that side of things too, and there's poppy moments because of that, and so I feel like that just perfectly sums up what I do.
I love it. Do you work with that producer for most of your stuff?
Yeah, actually I work with Ariza and Cole, an incredible songwriter, for like the past 2 projects and this like upcoming one. Literally like solely work with them on everything pretty much, and
that's great.
I've just like found such a perfect combination with them, and they bring out like the best part of me and the best parts of me, and like in a not cliche way.
That's fine.
Like sometimes it just like happens so organically, you like can't deny it, and like there's just no, I feel like we step into that room and there's just like no walls up, no one's holding back. Everyone's so just like excited. Like I love working with someone and just being like, yes, like we're doing it. It's like the reason why you do it in the first place.
Yeah, you know they want to work with you too.
Yeah, totally. It's just great. A perfect balance. And it's also a therapy session, to be honest, for me. And I always leave so much happier.
So what does your writing process look like? Do you come in like with a fully finished song, or are you guys like talking through your life trauma?
It depends. It depends, honestly. It's a little different every time. A lot of the times I'll just be like talking to Cole, because she in a way here has been like an older sister figure to me.
Adorable.
And she does give incredible advice and just lets me like talk through shit, and it's been incredible. So a lot of times I'll start with that. It's just like, okay, so what now? Like, what's she been up to?
Right. And you think it's just a conversation, and then they go, and that's what we're writing about.
Yeah, no, literally she'll be taking notes every time I say something. She's like, okay, there we go. That one.
Literally therapist.
That's coming back up later. Yeah. So that's been really great for me, just
psychologically and also creatively.
Yeah.
To have that. Sometimes I'll come in with an idea. Sometimes a lot of the times we'll like reference a song, and we'll be like, what are you listening to right now? And kind of all play songs that we're into, and then and pull from that. And obviously, like, incredibly, it never turns out the way that the reference was, but it becomes this whole new thing. But it's cool to start by listening to other influences,
right? And like only you know that it started with like a Journey song.
Totally, yeah. Literally, there's been a lot of that, a lot of like random sounds being like, I want this sound from like this kind of song, and then it becomes a totally different sound, but like it started with that for a reason. So yeah, there's just a lot. It's so buildable, but I feel like the coolest part about working with them is that like when I am doing the life story thing, it's not like a new person every day. It's like they have all of the background knowledge from like the past whatever sessions and hangouts and whatever. So it's not like I'm explaining myself every single time. It's like, let's pick up where we left off.
I hear often from artists that session work is like dating.
Yeah, it's like blind dates. Yeah,
because you have to like, where are your parents from? What are your goals in life?
And
it's like, you guys know these things about me.
Yeah, exactly. But it's been so nice to just be able to like jump in where we left off with them, and they have so much context, and also, I mean, I've been working with them over the past few years, that it's like they've seen, I mean, I was telling you earlier, like I'm a new person every week, but they've seen such a difference in who I was 3 years ago.
They know all the versions of you.
Totally, yeah. There's a very like critical points in my life that they've been a part of. So I feel like they've gotten to see like who I've been throughout all of it, which has been really
the trash can rolling by as we speak about your personal growth.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta be humbled. Gotta keep humble.
And it's true.
Yeah, exactly.
So you worked with them on this upcoming EP that's coming out.
I did, yes. They did the entire thing. Yeah, we did it all together.
I'm sorry. The trash can. We sometimes like make it out without getting this in.
Like, this is a sign.
I'm just gonna let her go.
You are trash. I'm just hearing that.
It's like your upcoming EP that you should put in the dumpster.
In the trash.
Burning pile of trash.
Let's go ahead and toss that one out.
So you worked with your producers on this upcoming EP.
Yes.
Do we have a name for it?
Yeah, we do. It's called Handle with Care. Okay. It's one of the songs on the EP is Handle with Care.
I love that song.
And I feel like it just perfectly like summed up the entire project. I feel like I've always been like very closed off, vulnerable wise, like being, I feel like with friendships, it's been so easy for me to just like tell everything at first go.
Oh, really? But then with songwriting?
But relationship wise and like speaking through my songs about like relationships and that kind of thing has always been like a little uncomfortable for me. Who knows why?
That's so interesting.
Yeah. It's like, it's so weird. So I feel like this EP is the first time I've really like touched on that and like been confident enough to say that like I need to be handled with care and like taken care of, and that I'm scared to get hurt.
Yeah, and that's normal.
Yes,
valid.
Totally. That's what I've learned throughout this process. Like you don't need to be scared to say that. It's just how it is.
But I love that you are like letting yourself be so vulnerable with this upcoming project.
Totally. I feel like I always also like have such a mix with when I am vulnerable in music. Like for instance, Long Way Down, this new song, that's also on the project.
Yes.
It's like, it's a very vulnerable, almost desperate in a little way. It's like, don't hurt me, like don't let me down kind of thing. And it's just a total like banger when it comes to like the production and the music behind it. So I feel like I love balancing this like, I'm a little weak and with like, but I'm also cool as fuck. Musically.
That's the general vibe of the EP.
Yeah, totally. If I could sum it up in one sentence. Never really thought about it like that, but
so would you say that Long Way Down is the song that represents Handle with Care?
I feel like there's it's so hard because they all have a special place on it, and like we were talking about earlier, like all my references show in my music, and I think so many of the songs are so different from one another.
Yeah.
But I feel like Long Way Down currently is one that I'm like so extremely proud of on the EP.
Told you I love heights, but I'm terrified, 'cause now my hopes are high. It's a long way down, down, down. It's a long way down.
It is like a new sound for me, having more of that like rocker guitar stuff in it.
It definitely
and, like, the
leans
drama.
alternative.
Yeah, it has some alternative moments. So I feel like that one's really exciting on the project. I've always been like so excited to play that one for people because I'm like, what do you think? Like, it's so different for me, but I love it. And I like grew up listening to like, I've seen Cage the Elephant like 8 times with my family, like bands like that, and like Spoon and like,
oh my god, I love Spoon.
I love Spoon
That's
so
funny.
much. Yeah, so much. So I feel like there are so many like random pieces of me that have like the alternative, more rocky side.
Yeah.
So it's fun to get to like experiment, like not even intentionally, like that one started me on guitar, just like that chorus. I just thought it was cool and dramatic.
Yeah.
And then it became way more dramatic than I ever imagined. I love it so much. But yeah, I feel like that one kind of sums up the vibe of the EP in the sense that it's like still deep and vulnerable and very real as to what I've been feeling over the past couple years, but at the same time it's still like you want to bang your head to it.
Yeah, bang your head to it, cry a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because of how real it is.
Best of both worlds. I also feel like I was writing these songs over the time where I just kind of began touring and like really playing shows for the first time, and Long Way Down was a song where I was like, this is gonna be so fun to play live because it does have that energy and excitement and drama, but at the same time it's like almost, I feel like so many of my songs are like vocally have so much in them.
Yeah.
And we were like, what is going to be the song that like I can still rock out to, have so much energy, but if my voice is getting tired because I've been singing the entire show, all I got to do is go down.
That's interesting to think about though.
Yeah.
I never thought like, because you are kind of preparing this EP to be something you're going to tour with upcoming.
Totally.
So it's like, okay, that's the one where I know I can kind of scream sing it a little bit.
Yeah, totally. Or just let them go.
Yeah.
Yeah, just moments like that. It's been cool to like have the live experience brought into like the songwriting process too, just because that is like my favorite part of all of it is playing the songs live. So I want to like create music that really adheres to that in a cool way.
And you are going on tour.
Yes.
With Sir Jacob Collier.
Sir Jacob Collier. I'm like, amen.
That's so exciting.
It's crazy.
Genuinely. I feel like you guys pair really nicely together.
Thank you.
I mean, obviously
so.
Because you're being featured on his album. Like, duh, it works. But you guys, you both have like the crazy, just like musician riffing and like chromaticism genes in you. But you're on like opposite sides of the pop spectrum.
Yeah,
too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been so fun, the process of getting to work with Jacob. I mean, like during the songwriting process for the song that's gonna be on his album.
I must have tried 100,000 times now, but something about that oh la 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 is keeping me holding on, and I can't let go now. You give me a rush now, sugar.
Has been so cool.
Yeah.
But also just like in rehearsals for this tour, since I'm gonna be playing in his band, just like watching the way his brain works has been such a cool, fascinating experience for me. And and not even just, I mean, music wise, obviously, like everyone knows that he is like an absolute wizard and legend and no one compares, but even just like the way he speaks about life and like who he is as a person, and he's just like the most humble human I've ever met. And for someone to be that talented and also that humble, it's actually unbelievable.
You can only have one.
You can only have one. You
can't be amazing and an amazing person.
No, you can't. It's just, it doesn't make sense. But so getting like advice from him and just hearing how he talks about things, and also just like watching his absolute passion firsthand. Yeah. Because it is just it's mind blowing the way that he looks at music in such like a childlike manner. Like he's just so curious and so excited by it still, even though you would think he knows absolutely everything.
Right. I do think he does.
Yeah, I do think he does. And after working with him, he does.
Yes.
But he's just so like, he has like such a wonder to him. It's just like so excited by music still, which is like probably the most important thing I've learned out of this entire process, is to like keep that feeling in you.
Because it can turn into a job so easily.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, and like even since moving here, like I mean, LA is so incredible and there's so many opportunities, but you can get lost in that mindset of like, we gotta get a smash, a hit. Like
the LA grind set.
The LA grind, which it's interesting you say like the balance of Jacob and I, because I do definitely think some of that is important. Like I do have some of that in me, like that motivation to like push, but it is never the reason why I do it or I'm in it. And I've had so many conversations with friends about this too, because it is such like a big part of our lives, and that like little voice in our head is always saying that. And watching Jacob, he's just like, I just do this because I love it. Like, there's no other reason to it.
Wow.
And it's so important.
What an amazing person to be around.
Yeah.
But also, like, to be playing in a band with is such a cool experience as an artist.
Totally.
Because I feel like you don't get to step back and do that.
No, I've never done this before.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying. No, it is scary, but it's been like such an incredible learning experience. And I'm like, I mean, I have had major imposter syndrome about it because I've never done it before. But I also like have been trying to just like soak up every bit of it, just because like I can't believe that I'm here.
You're here for a reason.
Thank you. It's I hope so. No, it's been great. And even just like, I don't have like a classical music background. Like I never went to music school or like had a real education on music. And I think that's why that just shows like how special and cool Jacob is for almost picking somebody that isn't a genius like he is. Like, he wants a different perspective and mindset. And I think that's so cool of him to like, to want to have little pieces of every kind of musician spread throughout what he does.
He's not flipping through resumes. Like, he's picking people he connects with.
Totally, yeah. And I'm just so honored that that's me. So honored and in disbelief that I'm in that band. It's truly like, and I mean, I'm talking about being surrounded by Jacob, but I mean the musicians that are in this band, and the vocalists and every single piece of the crew and everything. It's so cool. It's just like the best of the best. It's so crazy to be around.
It sounds wild. Genuinely like really artistic.
Yeah.
Which I think tour can easily become like stagnant.
Totally.
It just feels like, I don't
repetitive.
know, karaoke every night.
Yeah.
But
that's hilarious.
It sounds like it's going to be like a good creative outlet.
Totally. Yeah. Such a good creative outlet. So incredible to be around those musicians, and also just like every single one of them are the kindest humans I've ever met. So I feel like that's why it's given me the confidence on this tour, because it's like, I know everyone's so kind and looking out for one another and writing for each other. So
yeah, you're going to be good.
That gives it so much less anxiety.
Yeah. Well, have you been able to play any of this EP live?
I have a little bit. Yeah. I played, I did my first headline tour this past summer right before I moved here.
How did that go?
It was so fun. Yeah. It was so fun. It was unreal. It was like, my favorite tour ever, the most fun ever. And the crowds were amazing. It was so fun getting to just like create a show too, and like have a full band and do all of that. But I got to play Long Way Down. I got to play, I played some of Handle with Care. Out of Sight on My Mind, the first single off the project.
I love that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, the lyric play on that's
so funky
good.
and fun. Thank you. Oh my gosh. That one was so fun to write, and it's like equally as fun to play live. It's just so energetic.
You're out of sight, but you're on my mind. Thinking about how I think about you all the time of night. I was hoping you could catch a flight. Been a minute, I admit it, when I turn off the lights.
But yeah, so I've teased a little bit of them, but I haven't really played the full thing like once all the songs are out. And it'll be exciting, because Long Way Down, when I played that, it was like nowhere near out. So it'll be exciting to play that live once like people actually know it and have sat with it.
Yeah, they can sing with it.
Yeah, totally. It'll be fun.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know a dessert track.
Dessert track?
Yeah, what's a little like cherry on top to the world of Lindsey Lomis?
Oh my goodness. I'm like going through my head.
You can have multiple desserts too.
I honestly feel like a good dessert track, like digestive, like let's sit with it. Really getting into this analogy. Yeah, like to digest with, like Handle with Care, I feel like gives that.
Put my heart in a box and send it away to your apartment. Can you keep it safe? I'm not very fragile, but I can still break. So handle it, care.
It's very like, I don't know, the song in itself is like very
it has like peaceful elements, but also like tasteful, exciting elements, little sweet stuff.
Yeah.
And it is like a very sweet song, and it's kind of like the same thing in Long Way Down, where it's like being very vulnerable, and I hadn't really had a song like that before, just because I hadn't like even analyzed those emotions.
Yeah.
But Handle with Care is, I mean, the lyric is like, put my heart in a box and send it away to your apartment. Can you keep it safe?
Yeah.
I'm not very fragile, but I can still break. So handle with care.
I love it.
So I feel like it's just a very like, I mean, obviously I named the EP that in the first place because it's just very personal, and it's kind of like putting the power in someone else. It's like, okay, I've done all I can do. Now it's like your turn to treat me right, to handle me with care.
Yeah.
And that's a very like scary thing to do, but it's important to do that with the right people sometimes, and to actually trust somebody.
Yeah, you can't connect with people if you don't allow yourself to.
Facts.
Facts. This is basically therapy.
Yeah. I was like, ooh, I'm going to type that in my notes. Yeah.
I do feel like Long Way Down is like the workout, and then Handle with Care is like the cool down.
Yeah, totally.
We're like, let me think about everything that's happened.
I love that. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah. I do just, I don't know, I think I need to lose myself in that concept a little bit, and just allowing yourself to even like verbalize the fact that you deserve this sort of love is like step number one.
Yeah, you gotta like look in the mirror every morning.
Yeah.
I deserve love. No, yeah, it's
okay, ASMR.
I know, literally, whoa. I heard that too well in my ears.
It is sort of terrifying.
Never want to hear that again.
The reality of your own voice is scary.
It's brutal. It's brutal. I know, these mics make me feel like I'm like hearing it recorded back already.
Yeah.
Which like everyone hates.
You're going to take them off and feel very Twilight Zone.
Yeah, totally.
It's very out of body. Well, I have a couple final questions.
Hell yeah.
The first one, very important, very severe. If your music was a candle, what scent would it be?
Oh my gosh. I personally am a very like, I love candles that smell like someone's baking.
Oh yeah.
In the house.
Like not a specific baked good, but like you opened the front door.
Yes. It's like, or like that scent. Yeah. There's like a sweetness to it. I feel like, I don't know if that perfectly describes my music, but that is like what I love and am drawn to.
Yeah.
But I feel like, there's like a comfort in like the smell of like someone baking or cooking or like whatever. And
a little nostalgia factor.
Yeah, nostalgia. There's like a sweetness, and I don't know. I feel like, honestly, the more I think about it, when I look back and listen back to my music, don't do it that often, but when I think about it, I'm like, I feel like I do as a person and in my music have like a very positive, like hopeful outlook on things.
Yes.
And obviously that's like something that I think everyone should strive to have more often, because it is like a crazy world. But I feel like a lot of my music is pretty positive. Even the sad stuff, it's like still hopeful in a sense.
I was gonna say, even though there's like introspective moments, it never leaves me like emptied.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
I'm so glad that's the case.
Some people are going for that.
Totally. And honestly, I will say, like, I need that at times. Like, if I want to cry, I'm gonna put on a really sad, heart-wrenching song to get it all out.
Yeah.
But I just don't know my music necessarily does that. But yeah, so I feel like there's like a sweetness, a sweet like edge to the music at times, even like the sassy stuff or the cool stuff, like it's all like kind of playful. So maybe like a sweet little candle would give that vibe.
A sweet treat.
A little vanilla or something, you know?
I love it. Okay, another question.
Yeah.
I want to know what your favorite sound is at the moment that isn't music.
My favorite sound is that isn't music.
Yes.
Well, it's definitely not the whisper that I just did into my ears. I'm going to go ahead and scratch that one off.
You deserve love.
It's worse with what I said. Give me anything else. Okay, this is going to be really weird, but I'm really thinking about it because I watch these videos and listen to these videos all the time. Okay. And I know it's a person's voice, so I feel like that is kind of cheating. It's not like
that's fine.
A particular sound. But I just love Conan O'Brien.
Oh, this is great. Please tell me about Conan O'Brien.
Literally everything about him. Not in a weird way. Literally, I'm just a fan of him. And he has a podcast. Yes. Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. And I will be that for him. No, I'm kidding.
And this is my pitch, Conan.
This is my pitch, Conan, if you're watching. No, I literally like, I can't sit with myself in silence ever. Like, it's just something I cannot do.
Same.
So no matter what, like if I'm getting ready or like whatever, doing my skincare, I'm always like playing Conan's podcast, and he like posts little clips on his YouTube that are like broken down. So I'll just like watch those and listen to him talk to people, and I just think like he's just so funny, and
just that guy's voice.
Yeah, just that guy's voice. You would never think it.
That tells me so much about you in a great way.
It's less, now that I think about it, I don't mean it to come across as like his voice. It's what he says and does.
Yes.
But also maybe now that I can hear it in my head, and I'm like, he brings like a comfort to me that I didn't know I needed.
Yeah. Some people just have like a vocal tonality that's so like easy to be around.
He doesn't have that, but no, okay. No, I just like love the podcast.
Overall
to be honest.
vibe, yeah.
And when I just think of it like a sound I'm listening to constantly, it's the sound of Conan O'Brien's voice.
Perfect.
Weirdly enough. Hate that I just admitted that.
I love that you admitted that.
This is an exclusive.
Well, my final question for you is I want to know who your ones to watch are. Who are you listening to?
That's awesome. Wow. Yeah. I have been so obsessed with Chappell Roan.
Of course.
And she's someone like on the rise that I'm just like writing for, and everything she does I love, like the visuals, her brand, like her makeup, just everything about it, and like the music just is so good, and it's so pop, which like I feel like sometimes can be unexpected that I listen to like pure pop like that, but it's so like tasteful, and it just like itches your brain, and it's just so, it like literally gets me going for the day.
Yes.
So she's a big one that I've been obsessed with. I mentioned Child earlier. He's one that I will mention a million more times. Like everything he does, it's crazy that like he has like 3 full albums out, and there's not a single song I don't like. Like everything is good.
That's
I
huge.
obviously have favorites over some of them, but like nothing is bad in my eyes.
I need to do a deep dive.
Yeah, totally. The album Hope for Sale and Synthetic Soul, those are like my 2 favorites.
Okay.
But yeah, so he's incredible. Oh my God. There's so many. I need to like look at my phone, which I can't do.
No, you can. It's fine.
Let me think. Artists on the right. I love I'm obsessed with Haley Knox.
Yeah.
She's incredible. I feel like she's like doing this whole world that has just been like, she's been at it too.
Yeah, she's been at it, and also like I remember discovering her like years and years ago. And she was making such different music. It's so cool to like see her come into herself.
Yeah, like watching an artist grow that you're a fan of.
Yes,
it makes you feel so much better being like, oh, I have such a ways to go.
Totally. Yeah, totally. It's like there is opportunity to like experiment and do whatever you want and try new things. And but yeah, those are a few.
Those are great. Yeah, 3 is awesome.
Okay, good.
You're like,
I'm like, I know there's like trillions more, but that's just.
I know people always leave here and they're like, shit, I wish I'd said.
I should have said, like Japanese House.
Oh,
been obsessed with them.
God,
obviously, like
it's really torture listening to that album, but it's so good.
Torture in the best way possible. Like it's just so good.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, it hurts, and I keep using the word tasteful, but like that music and that production, like, oh, it's so satisfying. Just every sound is perfectly placed. Like everything just feels so intentional, which I just appreciate so much.
Yeah, she's a genius.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's unreal. But yeah. There's
beautiful.
More, there you go.
Yay, thank you. I love when I get recommended something I don't know.
Oh my God,
I'm going to have to do a child dive.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'll send you some like particular songs to start with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So good.
Well, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Abby. This is so fun.
Yeah, I'm so excited for everyone to see you on tour.
Oh, me too. I can't wait. It's still like not real to me.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see myself on tour so that I know it's actually happening. You know?
I'm excited to reality check that one.
Yeah. Yep. Can't wait to pinch myself in the moment.
Well, everyone, this is Chef's Choice. Once again, I'm Abby Kenna with Lindsey Lomis.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, check out Handle with Care.
That was horrible.
Giselle's taking a picture of us.
I'm regretting the finger guns. I can't leave it on that note.
What do you want to leave it on?
No, just kidding. We're good.
That's
Honestly, I gotta commit.